Part two, live on Twitch right now, man. Part two to Talanoa Hufanga. This is Thinking Football's video on him. Very good football channel, man. Very good football channel. The first one was Gym Live. I like this video. Talanoa has been a very good player. We're gonna go ahead and check out Thinking Football's video on him. They have a very good channel, man. Like what they're doing. If you're new to the channel, hit the like button for me. Also subscribe. Yeah, man, let's jump into it.
There's a storm brewing in the Bay, and it's here to fog up opposing offenses and steer the Niners ship through the dangerous waters of the early NFL season.
There's some dogs,
While
bro.
the offense remains a one-man show, the defense has cemented itself as maybe the best in the league, playing as a complete unit as they frustrate and shut down.
I can't say they've been a one-man show these past two games. Jeff Wilson has been doing solid and helping them out offensively. I've been seeing Debo come out the backfield a little less. So it's gonna be interesting to see once they do get Elijah Mitchell back. What's gonna happen with that? I do think they can open up their passing concepts a little bit more. You know, open the playbook a little bit more, passing wise. But you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, but you know, you can always improve a little bit.
Down opposing teams, league, playing as a complete unit as they frustrate and shut down opposing teams. Led by defensive coordinator DeMeco Ryans, the scheme has holdovers from his mentor Robert Saleh's cover 3, but takes heavy influence from the modern Fangio cover 6, something Saleh started to implement in San Francisco, but DeMeco has recently turned up to 11. Let's talk about what makes this defense so damn good.
Texas missed out on DeMeco Ryans, man.
Let's start with that cover 6, which has essentially become their base defense. With the NFL becoming increasingly vertical thanks to the relaxation of passing rules and an increased emphasis on player safety. I mean, some of this shit used to be legal 15 to 20 years ago. Defenses have gotten progressively deeper. At first, we saw the adaptation in Seattle with the cover 3 that stormed the league. But as teams learned how to beat this through vertical slot routes and crossers, a new
Bruh, literally, literally what's happening to me on Madden earlier. Verticals.
Defense came to take its crown.
Killing me.
Originating from former Broncos head coach Vic Fangio, the Fangio 6 looks different from the jump. Instead of the single high corners off look of the cover 3, the Fangio 6 starts with a 2 high look pre-snap, signaling to the quarterback there's deep protection. But it goes further than that. The aim is to appear like you're in a cover 4, often playing both of the corners off, showing offenses a 4 high shell and telling QBs to check it down into the flats. Splitting the field in 2, the Fangio 6 aims to shut down the modern passing game by playing split 4-2 principles. That's cover 4 to the strong side of the formation and cover 2 to the weak side. This provides vertical protection to where the most threats are with the safety and corner and quarters, while maintaining flat and inside presence if the offensive targets go shallow. If a third receiver to this side goes long, the outside backer will bail too, never allowing a free man. In its base form, a cover 2 is played to the weak side, allowing for bracket coverage on the X receiver and offering underneath zone help for crossers or dump-offs. But being the NFL, this is just the start of it. Often on the weak side of a 3x1, teams will play solo lock on the single receiver.
Okay, so this is not about Talanoa Hufanga. This is about the 49ers defense. Okay, all right. I saw Talanoa Hufanga in the thumbnail and I thought it was about him. Correction. Definitely not about him. It's about them as a unit.
Essentially locking up the guy in straight man. Or, if there's 2 receivers to this side, they
play?
might call banjo,
Tsunami?
playing man, but passing off between the outside backer and corner depending on leverage. Back to the strong side, and the pattern match principles may change depending on the leverage, down, and distance. Usually, Fred Warner would be squatting lower here, responsible for the break-in, but with it being 3rd and long, he'll leave this for Lenore and continue to drop into the Tampa area, helping shut off the post to Skoranek.
Nice pickups. Nice pickups. I ain't gonna lie. That's
responsible for the break-in, but with it being 3rd and long,
I would think he would get my guy here. Who's this, Higbee? Probably.
He'll leave this for Lenore and continue to drop into the Tampa area, helping shut off the post to Skoranek. A counter to both the cover 3 and 6 is the post clear out for the deep over. So to counter this, the Fangio 6 allows for the safety playing quarters to carry any deep crosser, effectively negating this playbreaker. Watch Hufanga immediately lock onto the slot when he starts his deep over, signaling the corner to now become a deep half defender, and for Warner to drop deep in case the outside receiver is running a dig. To the weak side, you can see the other corner also continues to bail and look for crossers. With nobody in his zone and the back faking as if he's in pass protection, it's an automatic call to continue to gain depth to the sticks and look for routes flooding your way from the far side. This has everything locked up, and by the time you realize this needs to be checked down, Nick Bosa is burying you into the turf.
They can play manipulative trick coverages like that because they have a defensive line who gonna get to the quarterback quick. Now, I guess they, considering they could probably struggle against another offense who did they lose to this year? An offense that has a solid old line. I think they lost to. Did they play Dallas? Who did the Niners lose to this year? 49ers disguise coverage as well. That's crazy. Like I said, they could afford to do that because this defensive line is crazy.
Part of the Fangio 6. Slow down the QB's reads by giving them no key pre-snap, baiting him into running the ball or going to quick checkdowns. Then hustle fast to keep gains to a minimum.
They lost to the Broncos?
Maybe cover 4 ambiguous opening look gives away no secrets. It never allows the QB to know when or how it will shift.
The Bears?
Or even if it's
I remember that week 1
that you were expecting. It could easily be straight cover 4 or cover 2.
Both very low scoring games.
One robber, or some form of blitz of any
kind
of the above.
On offense.
Here it is again against the when or how opening look gives away no minimum. This maybe cover 4 ambiguous opening look gives away no secrets. It never allows the QB to know when or how it will shift. Or even if it's the cover 6 that you were expecting. It could easily be straight cover 4 or cover 2 or man 1 robber or some form of blitz of any of the above. Here it is again against the Broncos, except the 49ers are going against tendencies and flipping the way they call it. With 3 threats to the near side, you'd expect.
That's so funny. They line up the same way every time, but they don't give nothing. Like, as far as they're not telling anything with the way they're lining up.
Expect the cover 4 to this side, but with Denver lining up Judy and Sutton to the far side, D'Amico Ryan calls the 4 their way, helping shut down all of Russ's threats and force yet another checkdown. A counter to this would be running somebody in motion to change the strong and weak call mid-snap, but the Niners were ready for this too. As soon as the motion starts, the secondary is talking and taking a few key steps to adjust. Ward buzzes down to play the flat, Hufanga becomes the half side, and Gibson and Mosley split the near side into quarters. The Broncos run the motion into a wheel, trying to attack the half side safety, but with the shift, it is now quarters this way, and everybody's locked up. And you can run man out of it too. It's a 2 high pre-snap, so it's very versatile in this fashion, with the choice to play 2 high or 1 and a robber, or send 5 pinning the pocket as we talked about in our Lamar video. The Niners also ran a bunch of man coverage out of the single high look using the principles Robert Saleh taught in his cover 5 pinning the pocket as we talked about in our Lamar video. The Niners also ran a bunch of man.
This was an interesting play. Because if his read was right here to 20, the tight end threw a great, I don't know if this was intentional, like this was a pick or what, but
man coverage out of the.
Look at that, he in a way. Number 4 facing this way, like say it was a pump fake to what's this, the right side of the field, back to 20, like that was the drawn up play. That would have been crazy. Cause look, that's crazy.
The single high look using the
principle. He would have got a good 10, 12 yards.
3, but that's for another video. The 2 high Fangio 6 has become the latest trend with at least a quarter of teams using it as their base. So what makes the 49ers the best at it right now? Well, they have almost the perfect personnel to run it. You've got to have at least one dog in the secondary, and the 49ers have found that with second-year standout Talanoa Hufanga. Nominally listed as a strong safety, he's been the ace in D'Amico Ryan's defense, helping elevate it to the next level. Able to play both safety roles, single high and in the box, Hufanga makes a multiple defensive scheme even more multiple. We showed him play man early on the crosser, and here it is again lining up on one of the league's best slots, Tyler Lockett. He's not fooled by the jab and head fake outside, sticking with the veteran and undercutting the route when the ball is released. He can't hang on to this one, but the tip drill delivers it to Tashawn Gibson. His ability to play the slot got him a pick six on Monday Night Football too. Lined up in the slot when the 49ers called man, he's normally covering Tyler Higbee here, but his vision and expert play reading ability allows him to see the screen to Cooper Kupp coming, and he steps in front of this one, taking Stafford to third all-time in career pick sixes. Sheesh. He's even better in zone, where he's got everything in front of him and can use that elite vision and acceleration to break on the ball. He's really got that it factor.
Like I said, he got good instincts, man.
It's hard to quantify it,
very good
but he
instincts.
has the ability to come up big when his team really needs him. Anytime an offense gets into heavy personnel and condenses the formation, watch for Hufanga lurking around the line of scrimmage. He loves to time the snap off the backside of the play and beat the runner to the line. I mean,
I pointed that out in the first video.
Loves to time the snap off the backside of the.
Let me see. I'm gonna see if he did it here.
And beat the runner.
No, he didn't do it here.
To the line.
But it was a play in the first video where he like did a skip up and took a step before the ball was even snapped, and then the ball snapped and he took off. So it was like, I was like, that is, I don't know if that's due to watching film or that's just simply instincts.
I mean, he does this over and over again. Usually, you don't have to account for the safety all the way to the backside, but teams are going to have to find a way to deal with his ability to attack downhill. In fact, the entire back seven has been superb at breaking on the ball. With the corners so far off pre-snap, you're going to entice passes to the flats, so you best be ready to come downhill and make a statement. When it comes to defending the pass in the modern NFL, it's got to be a joint effort, and the backers deserve great love too. Led by All-Pro Fred Warner, the unit is so freakishly fast they can afford to stay in base more often, only really resorting to nickel and 4 receiver sets or long yardage. This had the added benefit of keeping more muscle on the field against the run, whereas other teams might sub a third safety or corner to play in the cover 6. The trio of Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, and Azeez Al-Shaair were quick enough to operate in space and going forward. However, with Al-Shaair out for 8 weeks with a sprained knee, slot corner Diamador Lenore has seen the majority of replacement snaps, moving them towards a more current nickel look, which will lose them some muscle, but it does allow them.
They switched the whole like base defense because one player is gone, and it works. It still works. They just have the personnel for multiple defensive packages. That'll make them stronger once them players do come back. So, what's that? His name Al-Shaair, and when Jimmy Ward comes back, it's gonna make them a lot stronger.
Them to be even more creative with drops and pressures like they showed Monday night. And that leads us to the last remaining part that we haven't yet talked about, the line. Playing so far off the line of scrimmage leads to 2 problems. 1, you risk giving quarterbacks too much time, and no scheme in the NFL works after 4 seconds. And 2, the depth gives teams plenty of space to run into. The first problem is solved by All-Pro and current sack leader Nick Bosa, who you can count on to just annihilate 4 or 5 plays a game completely on his own. It doesn't matter what type of boundary concept the Bears are running here, because Fields never gets a chance to read it, as Nick Bosa is too busy forklifting his left tackle and dumping him straight into Fields' lap. And even if you call the play away from him like Seattle do here, running a quick sprint left option, he jumps the gap so fast he scares Geno into pulling this one down. On the interior, Eric Armstead and Kevin Givens have been instrumental in keeping the rushing game locked up despite the light box. Anytime a team tries to run inside, these two are throwing linemen or pushing players into gaps and opening lanes for their backers to make big stuffs. You can see they put an emphasis on film for how a team's run game might look and when there's an opportunity to ruin it by run blitzing. While we highlight these 3 names, it has definitely been a collective effort up front. 10 different guys have recorded tackles on the line, 7 of which have recorded a sack. They've been winning mostly with 4, and the ability to rotate up front means there's always someone fresh to rush the passer, a must against these scrambling menaces of today's league. Having given up just 46 points,
They've had a nice
D-line
D-line rotation for
the
what the
49ers
past
have every right to claim
4
themselves
years
as the top defense in the league. The tape shows a creative yet well-disciplined scheme that has confused all that have faced it so far, and it definitely feels repeatable with how well this system fits its personnel. They say defense wins championships, and if they can keep this up, they could drag themselves to another Super Bowl. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video,
everybody be hitting that everybody be hitting that Niners defense becoming up clutch in fantasy. Wow. All right, man, we're gonna end it there. Appreciate y'all for watching. Hit that like button for me. Let me know y'all thoughts. Subscribe. Stay tuned. Be blessed.